Hey everybody, Zach again, newtutorial.com, coming in making. It's September 23rd. I shouldn't be here right now. Neither should you. What are you doing? You're supposed to be like up in the air somewhere. I know what happened. You've all been left behind. That's it, right there. We've all been left behind. So September 23rd has come and gone, and everyone's still here, and, you know, everyone's wondering, you know, what happened? What went wrong? You know, I don't like, you know, this is something that it's actually pretty serious. And I'm going to explain why this is very serious and why we should take it seriously, because there's a lot that's happening here. Number one, I did a video a couple months back on September 23rd. It's the tribulation, and it got all kinds of feedback, all kinds of hate mail. Got like 94 dislikes. Got a lot of likes, but I got a lot of people leaving, you know, nasty comments, and people who were very upset at me. People both in, you know, Bible believers in both Christianity and in the Hebrew roots, who were not happy with me. Torah observancy, Hebrew roots, Messianic, whatever. Not happy, okay? And because there's some people who are coming over and they still believe in the rapture. I mean, this is something that is very deeply ingrained in a lot of people. And, you know, when you start throwing their sacred cows over the cliff, boy, they just, you know, start going nuts a little bit, or sometimes a lot. Anyway, so September 23rd is come and gone, and a lot of people were looking at this. There were some people who were seriously thinking this was going to happen. A lot of people made a lot of money on a lot of other folks selling DVDs and books and, you know, putting out propaganda to get them into their ministries and to give them seed money for I don't know who knows what, because, you know, if you're all going to be gone in a few weeks, why would you donate to a ministry that's not going to even be there? Oh, we're going to be, you know, sowing seeds into the people who are left behind, don't you know? And it's ridiculous the amount of merchandise that was made of you. So, what are my thoughts on this? Let's just take a look at this. Here's some of the articles right here. This is something, you know, there was a guy, you know, I did the video real quick. I did the video, and there was a bunch of people who left notes because I basically insinuated that some people were making the stuff up and that they were in it for all the money. And some people left comments saying that, no, it was such and such guy who originally came up with it, and he's not asking for any money whatsoever. And I forgot the guy's name. I looked back in the comments to try to find it, and it was, I think maybe Chris or something. I don't know. Somebody left, a bunch of people left comments with the guy who supposedly originally came up with the September 23rd date. You know, I mean, he was wrong, obviously, but a bunch of other people who were in it for the money came out and overshadowed that guy, and you know, they made a lot of money on it. They made a lot of notoriety on it. They expanded their ministries a lot on it, which is crazy because you'd think after something like this and you fail so miserably that those people would just go back and be, you know, go away. But they won't. I mean, there are people even in the Torah community who made a big deal about this and are saying the tribulation is going to start and that there's all kinds of, you know, massive things coming, you know, in the days ahead. That, I mean, maybe it's true. I don't know. I just don't think so, because I see where their motivation is, and it's all about the cash. Okay, it's the money. It's the ministry, building the ministry. You know, I call it the Joseph Prince syndrome. I mean, have you ever taken a look at Joseph? Let's just take a look at his website. So here is the Joseph Prince website. And I mean, I call it the Joseph Prince syndrome because you see it with anybody I think who's out for the money. Is a real quick way of knowing right then and there by going to their materials or their website or whatever publication they're using or whatever type of propaganda they're putting out there, and you see their face over all of it. So you go to his website, and there you go. There's his face right there. You go to the next banner over. Oh, there he is again. You know, his face right there. Look how great he is. He's standing so magnanimous before the crowd right there. And, you know, and there he is again. Wow, look at that beautiful head of hair. It's just, I call it the Joseph Prince syndrome because it's all about them. And it's about making their ministries big. It's about making them look good. And it's nonsense. It's so easy to spot once you know what to look for. You scroll down and, oh, look, another picture of that guy. It's you know, it's just crazy. So anyway, I'm looking at all these people who are making these predictions, and, you know, I'm giving my 2 cents on this. And, you know, there's some articles that I saw of some of the people who were making a big deal about it. This one right here, biblical prophecy claims the world will end on September 23rd, Christian numerologist claims. And it's talking about the guy, was it named David Mead or whatever his name is? And, then you look at the next article that came out, and he talks about planet Nibiru, and planet X is going to hit Earth and all this stuff, and no one can see it. And my 10-year-old, we were talking about this in the house, my 10-year-old says, well, if no one can see it, how do they know it's coming? Yeah, that's good. That's a good question, because they say no one can see it. So how do they know? How do you know it's coming? And then we have this on September 23rd, or a day ago. Doomsday is not on Saturday after all, writer says, after predicting the end of the world. So the same guy they're talking about over in this article right here says now this, Doomsday is not on Saturday after all, writer says, after predicting the end of the world. So he's conveniently does a switcheroo and moves it, oh, well, it could be, this is going to be the start of hard times. And it's just ridiculous, guys. It's total nonsense. Let me be clear on something, folks. I believe we're in the last days. Okay, I really, truly do. I believe that, and I've given you I did a video, and it started to get a lot of hits during this whole run-up to September 23rd. I give you a lot of 7 reasons why I believe we're in the biblical end times. Okay, so don't get me wrong on that. And I think all those reasons are valid. The issue is these verses right here, when it's talking about the prediction of the coming of the Son of Man. It says, Luke 17:23, and they shall say to you, see here, or see there. Go not after them, nor follow them. For as the lightning that lighteneth out of the one part of under heaven, shineth under the other part of heaven, so shall also the Son of Man be in his day. Well, let me ask you, ladies and gentlemen, can you predict where the lightning will strike? Can you predict in the sky where the lightning will be? No, you can't. So stop trying. Stop trying. And these people who are trying to predict where the lightning will strike and where the lightning will appear in the sky, don't follow them. I'm just quoting scripture. It says don't follow them, because that's what they're doing. They're trying to predict the lightning, the coming of the Son of Man as it will be in his day. You're not going to be able to predict. So stop it. All we can do is watch. Okay, we can make predictions. We can even talk. We can make predictions. We can talk, but stop going out and saying this is it, and this is good. The day it's going to happen. Predicting and guessing. I say guessing. Guessing is more of a better term, I guess. Better use of the word. We're guessing. Maybe it's coming up this year. Maybe it's coming up next year. But these people who are putting dates on this and they're guessing. I was just like these guys. I was caught up in this stuff. I believed it. Years ago, and I learned my lesson. And then I read this. I'm like, hey, they're going to say to you, see here or see there. Stop trying to predict the lightning, because you're going to be wrong a lot. I mean, embarrassingly so. Check this out. Listen, folks, I think this is doing 2 things to Bible believers. Because every year there's another prediction. Every year, every few months, there's another, guy out there, telling us what is going to be. And it's doing 2 things. Number one, I think it's making us so easily laughable by the rest of the non-Christian, non-Bible believing audience of the world, okay? It's just making us a laughingstock. Number 2, and this is a little more serious, is that it's ruining people's faiths. It is, because there are people out there who are so easily swayed. They take in every wind of doctrine so easy without, you get one person's point of view and you're like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense, without going and trying to test it, and it blows me away how easily so many people are swayed. And that's what we have today. And they buy into this stuff. I mean, go look at the comments on that video I did where I was making fun of the September 23rd, and people were like, Zach, you shouldn't make fun of these people. I'm like, I'm not really making fun of you. I'm just trying to point out the absurdity of it all and giving you my reasoning. And people were convinced on that thread. I mean, those comments, they were convinced this is it, Zach. And where are those people today? I mean, there are people, we're already hearing stories about people who sold their homes and their houses, and they were homeless, and they ran up credit card debt, and they did all kinds of crazy things because they were convinced that the rapture was happening September 23rd. And, well, you're still here. And guess what? Your credit cards bills are going to be due here pretty shortly. Or whatever, you're going to have to live with your actions. You're going to have to take responsibility for your actions, because you followed someone who tried to predict the lightning in the sky. You can't do that. Okay, so it's destroying people's faith. It's making us a laughingstock. in a time when really we need to not be the laughing stock. I mean, and listen, this is just the way the world's going to go. There's probably no stopping it anyway. I'm just telling you, this is what I'm seeing. Yeah, we are being a laughing stock to the rest of the world, and that's probably going to continue. Guys, there is no rapture. Stop waiting for it. Stop trying to predict it. There's a greater exodus. Make that the number one search term in Google. Greater exodus, and start learning about it. Look at all the scriptures, the prophets, even our Messiah himself, Moses, all talked about the greater exodus. Okay, Yeshua hinted over and over again about the greater exodus. There's no rapture. We're going to eventually meet him in the sky. It's going to be on Yom Kippur when we see the judgment of the world fall on the earth. The judgment of the Father fall on the earth. We're going to watch that from the sky. There will be a rapture then, but we're not getting raptured and going to heaven and starting out 7 years. It's not happening. No. There's a greater exodus where he will save his people just like he did the first time. And it will be because his people cried out. Stop trying to follow the people who are predicting the lightning. All right, we'll leave it at that. Go home, read your Bible. Thanks.